Hi, this is Slashy, and I am here because it's time for the Roguelike Celebration 2024. So the first day of talk is finished already, and I've got like 20 minutes, and I thought it would be good to do something similar to what I did last year and just explore the virtual space. So we have a virtual space this year as well, similar to last year. Well, the multi-user dungeon-like thing that was made for the roguelike celebration. So this year is themed around goblins. As you enter, there's a courtyard. Sight, sounds, and smells fill your senses as you enter the central courtyard. Dozens of goblins mill about among the festival goers like yourself, a cacophony of peoples wandering the grounds. The fair seems to have taken over what was once a park, just far enough away from civilization to create the illusion of an untouched wilderness. Towering above the courtyard, floating amidst a crossroads of paths, lies the obelisk. Just to the right of the central pathway is a booth covered in decorative pins labeled the Pin Vendor. Just ahead and to the left is a tattoo truck with colorful patrons coming and going. Opposite to that truck sits an undefined. There's an undefined. Following the path to the left of the courtyard, you see the night market. To the right, you see unconferencing. And directly ahead, you see a massive stage surrounded by goblins in colorful garb, beckoning you towards the theater entrance. So this is the courtyard. We are here. There's only two persons here. Most of the people right now is still on the theater or on the unconferencing rooms. The day is almost done, so a big bulletin board sits in the middle of the hall with a banner on top. Social space feedback. An array of markers and sticky notes are nearby. So here you can put some feedback for the social space. So remember, the social space, how long has it been? 3-4 years, I believe. I think it was made just for the 2020 event. You know what happened on 2020, and it's great. It's great because it tries to mix this retro multi-user dungeon roguelike thing with the needs of a modern social event. So there's someone here. Meanwhile, he's holding a mystic dagger, and I am still holding a tiny puppy since last year. I will put a link on the description of this video of my gameplay from last year. So I can check my profile. This is me, Slashy. I got procedural generated vibes, and I for some reason radiate hatred. I forgot why. Maybe something I did last year. I don't know why I would radiate hatred. So we're going to move. I have explored a little bit before recording. So this entire unconferencing area, well, it's for unconferencing, right? Like a Zoom calls where you can meet with other humans and talk. You can go here to the theater. This is of course where the main space, the main stage area, where you can see all the different talks. And tomorrow, well, they will resume with that. And then there's some breakout rooms, right? So yeah, all these rooms around the theater are breakout rooms where you can, after each talk, you can go there and talk with the speaker to further discuss a given topic. So we're going to resume our journey. So we're here in the courtyard. Let's walk to the obelisk directly. You stand beneath a towering stone slab which glows faintly with layers upon layers of finely carved runes sprawling across the surface in elaborate patterns. As you stare at the glowing runes, you feel your mind begins to connect with it. It demands information. A deep fear embeds itself within your heart as you realize the stone is sentient. Feed it your most valuable links, or else you fear what may come to pass. At the foot of the obelisk, you notice a potion bottle. It chips between two forms, but the only tangible difference is the label, which changes from paralysis to hallucination. So I did put a reference. Actually, I put link to the castle generator. just in case someone wants to check it out. Let's just take a trip to the unconferencing. So, you enter a pastoral campground in the clearing of a forest. Standing beneath the sunbeams is a crowd of goblins in pastel-colored polo shirts. The one in the center of the group is holding a guitar and smiling warmly at you, singing a song about the joys of making new friends. The campground appears to be split into 4 distinct sections, and there's a smiling goblin waiting at each to help guide you. You see the archery range, a wood shop, the docks, and a training field. Standing amidst the campground, a large wooden sign with haphazardly painted text reads, "On conference topic suggestions." A smaller sign nailed at a jaunty angle clarifies, "Write what you want to chat with others about, and upvote topics you find interesting. 5 minutes into each unconferencing block, moderators will assign the top 4 topics to rooms. Have fun." I think we're about to finish the unconferencing. Yeah, it's currently ongoing. So if I wanted to see other humans, I would do that, right? I go into a unconferencing room. For instance, oh, Alexei is here, one of the MCs of the event. So which one? Let's go to the docks. The docks, it's more peaceful. You walk out to the local lake and find a quiet space seemingly devoid of goblin presence. Looking around, you see old docks protruding out into the water, where the lake meets a river, and looking down that river you see it slowly spans and becomes tumultuous rapids. At the start of that river, sitting on a raft at the docks, is a dog. The dog carries a bright orange backpack and stares at you expectantly, but you are not sure why. This is a unconferencing room, and here they encourage us to talk with other humans. So we are walking back from the docks into the unconferencing, back to the courtyard, and now we're going to the night market. You walk into a sprawling goblin market, full of food trucks and stalls run by a colorful collection of mischievous shopkeepers and chefs. Colorful banners draw your eye to each individual seller, and you hear raucous callouts begging for your attention everywhere. You walk within this overwhelming cacophony. A central space is cleared out to provide a social space to gather away from the goblin peddling their wares. In this space, you see people of every kind, mixed among performers doing energetic dances or playing instruments in hope of a tip. Ahead of you, you see a peddler of games. To your left are some standing tables and a picnic grounds. To your right, you see a goblin selling swag and some food trucks. There's a kebab truck, a boba truck, taco truck, and a vegan truck. I am all alone here with my puppy. You enter a makeshift store filled with shelves and colorful boxes in every direction. These shelves appear to be illegal knockoffs of games, armor, weapons, and items, while ours is legit, made by the goblin merchants. A greasy goblin stands behind the counter, swearing to anyone who asks that his products are legit. A wall to the side holds a progression of armors, the best of which is marked with a sign which reads, Plate mail sold out due to high demand. You notice a table in the back corner of the space devoted to actual video games, which you are free to peruse, and this actually takes you to this Steam sale. Alright, but anyways, let's go to the picnic ground. So as always, hopefully, I'm just exploring this. I'm not sure if it's going to be like this, this year. There's some small adventures that you can do. So besides the event, you can actually do some adventuring. So these are the picnic grounds. You walk into a quiet hillside which gently slopes to cradle the edge of the fairgrounds. The breeze here is peaceful, and it's almost quiet enough to forget all the goblins milling about in every other direction. The wind carries a small slip of paper over to you, which lands into your hand and reads adornments for sale, 10 gold each. It must have fallen off someone's table in the market. As you rest here, you notice a dark line in the side of the hill, as if a hole had been covered up with a sheet of grass. You may attempt to enter the hole. We are alone here, and I think this is where the adventure begins. This is the classic goblin warren. You slip into an underground warren full of goblins. Stone walls and dirt floors shaped in a natural cave that stretches far into the distance and then further into tunnels in every direction. The main chamber you stand in is full of goblins, no different from those on the surface except for their fashion sense, which seems to adhere strictly to cave chic, as if intentionally coordinated by some group with absolute authority. As you look around, your eyes travel to a side cave where scraps of materials lie strewn across the floor like a blast zone around a group of goblin fashionistas. So no map here. This map only works for the surface. We are in the underground now. Near the fashionistas, you see a few more industrial goblins creating other kind of crafts, including a goblin tinkerer who appears to be furiously working on some grandiose contraption. The rest of the warren's populace mills about, with the exception of one dark hallway which they appear to be avoiding. So where should we go? Let's check with the tinkerer and see what he's doing. You enter the workshop of some kind of tinkerer, surrounded by every shape you could possibly imagine, and forked of everything from glass to copper to some kind of metallic cloth hybrid. The tinkerer himself wears a bizarre hat with spiraling copper tubes coming out in every direction, attached to blue potion bottles suspended on either side. The top of the hat holds a floating orb, glowing with power, and the front seems to have some kind of bidirectional horn. In front of him sits a pile of scraps as he tries desperately to combine them into some novel shape. You might try to speak with him, but you aren't sure how productive that would be. Let's try to speak with him. He waves you off, muttering something about the next big thing, and goes back to working. As he reworks the shape in front of him, your eye wanders to the space behind him, where a ghostly image looms over his shoulder. So what's the next big thing? You ask the goblin what he means by the next big thing, and you get no response other than an angry scowl. You can return or investigate the ghostly image. You confront the ghostly image looming over the shoulder of the goblin tinkerer and begin to feel yourself overwhelmed by the need to create something grand, something important. At first, this desire feels like a natural part of you, only bigger somehow. As you focus on the sensation, however, you begin to notice a spectral thread connecting you to the ghost in front of you. You reach out your attention to the spectral thread and begin to hear whispers in the back of your mind. The voices tell you that you need to produce something valuable, something people want and will pay you to create. Once one voice rises above the rest and you feel darkness embrace you around the edges of its alluring tone. You can listen to that darker voice and allow it to wash over you. Around that central voice, however, you also notice some other voices as well. These disparate voices harmonize and form memories that float to the forefront, allowing you to reach out to them. So it seems this year's quest is super metaphysical, something like that. Let's check the darker voice. Darkness crashes over you, and you feel your heart constricting. The need for gold rises within you, and the need to get that gold, no matter what, must be sacrificed. You must create the next big thing, or else you will never achieve greatness and never be able to provide for your family. What was any of this for if not to provide for those you hold most dear. That darkness begins to turn with power, even as the memories begin to fade. Darkness. Two golden eyes peer at you from an inky blackness that floats before you. You suddenly realize that you can see nothing except those eyes. The image of gold is all you can see. You get a flash of an image of a family, distant and vague, as if they aren't truly real and are getting even less so by the moment. Beyond that image is a room full of gold. Do we want the gold or do we want the family? I think we oh no, we cannot go back now. We are engulfed by this darkness. So this is this is ominous. I'm scared now, but there's nothing I can do. Should we go to the room full of gold? We don't have a choice. You enter a glittering room with dull ambient light that comes from nowhere and goes nowhere. Gold coins pile up, high enough in every direction, endlessly pouring down below you as you stand above what appears to be a massive tower of wealth. The edges of this room are covered in glass windows that stretch from floor to ceiling, giving you a beautiful view of the world, but keeping you away from it. There are no doors in this room. It is as if the gold coins you stand on have filled the space below you, supporting your great height and preventing your descent. You no longer hear the voices of your family here. You understand, somehow, that you never will again. But then, we reset. You feel your own mindset reassert itself. What did I do? In the face of these horrors before you, you may return to the classic goblin warren. Yeah, I guess there's a lesson here. That journey to seeking to do the next big thing won't take us anywhere. Gotta think on the family first. Anyways, Goblin Thinker, let's speak again with him. Let's follow the family. Let's check the memories instead of listening to the darker voice. We will not listen to that darker voice. We will instead check the memories. You step into the memories and find yourself somewhere far beyond the Goblin Cave. You are in a simple home with a warm fire, and the smell of fresh bread caresses you and makes you feel at peace. You look around at the family portraits on the wall and the photos from your wedding and all the pictures of your friends. Something deep inside you understands that this is the life you built with your own two hands, that this is what you want. As that certainty crashes over you, you see your daughter. How did they know? Looking up at you as if to ask you a question. You also see the work table before you, full of the toys that you are expected to finish by tomorrow. Let's talk with the daughter. Your daughter's loving eyes gaze up at you, and you understand the meaning of this all for a moment. You know exactly why you toil as you do. It will all be worth it as long as you can see this smile. Your daughter tells you some story she made up about the toys she has been playing with, and you remember that you have to come up with something new by tomorrow, or else you will lose your tenuous position. I have to do something for tomorrow. Well, this is not a coincidence. I believe there's something crazy going on here with this multi-user dungeon. It's connecting with my life. With an effort of will, you might be able to focus on the moment and listen to your daughter's story. I have lived through this in real life, and I think I was never happy by when I choose to dismiss my daughter or just ignore her. That leads nowhere good by the end of the day. So I will focus on the moment and listen to my daughter's story. Your daughter tells you the story of a princess saving a gallant knight from the towering giant barbarian who threatened their warren. She tells you how the princess used her creativity to summon a horde of toys that the giant stepped on, causing him to trip and land into a pit she dug to keep him in. She describes the princess in detail, her magic wand and writing on letters, her faithful mount and darling friends, made up of creatures from all over the world, each with their own special powers. You realize as she talks that this would all make a brilliant new line of toys. Not one new toy, but a whole set to collect. This hopeful memory fades around the edges, and you understand that this was not the path you walked. You remember your deadline again and put your head down to complete the task by tomorrow. With the last effort, you know you could also push this dream into being and build a toy for your daughter. Yes, let's do that. I earned a badge! I can now equip the toy for your daughter badge. Nice. There's no more darkness, I'm going to turn on the light again. That was unscripted. You create the princess toy for your daughter, you give the princess a powerful mount and surround her with mystic friends. Your daughter grows up knowing how powerful she is and that you do this work for her. The two of you struggle, but this moment gives you each a touchstone to remind yourselves of the way things should be. Before you suddenly find a table filled with toys. You understand somehow that these are not part of the memories here. These toys are real, and you can take them with you. Where's my badge? I want my daughter badge, this one. I'm going to remove the hatred one and put the daughter one. Where's the hatred one? I hope I didn't lose it. It's gone. Well, that's for the better. I no longer radiate hatred. Okay. There's 3 action figures in the table. Hergel, a goblin knife princess, Mr. Stamus, a battle kitty, and Ooze, faithful sidekick. Let's take Mr. Stamus. Oh no, I'm holding it. No, I want my puppy back. No, the puppy is gone. Okay. These are the friends of the princess. Okay, oh, they are about to close. Let's see how far we can go here. Go back to the picnic grounds. We're running out of time. So for today, let's go to the Goblin Fashionistas. You walk into the dark corner of a cavern with goblins wearing the latest trends of fashionable goblin culture. Plates of metal and flowing ribbons create a look that is at once chaotic and chic. The 3 goblins each wear their own unique combination of materials they've scrounged from somewhere nearby, and then painstakingly combined into whole blocks of texture and style. As you look at them, they look back at you, their noses pointed up and an air of absolute disdain. The middle one of them speaks and says, "Go to the best armor you could find in the original Rogue / go." Oh, this is a bug. Yeah, I don't think I can. Go to the best armor you could find. Was it that shiny plate? Let's try that. Go, plate. What's the best armor in Rogue? Plate mail. Yes! By speaking the words plate mail, you suddenly appear in a potion shop with a mischievous looking goblin witch standing atop a step stool, balancing on a stack of books that are themselves piled onto a precarious looking stone. The witch stirs a massive cauldron 3 times her own height and looks at you quizzically as you appear suddenly in her shop. She says to you, "Go to the potion with the same effect as the paralysis potion." That was the hallucination? Hallucination potion? Yeah. You speak the word hallucination potion into the air and suddenly appear in a dank cave richly appointed with hand-woven tapestries. The smell of incense burns from somewhere nearby, and pillows cover each rock and some half of the dirt floor. An enormous grin shines in the darkness nearby, drawing your attention to the goblin who wears it. That goblin wears a glittering array of gemstones and gleam dully in the firelight, giving back a tiny fraction of the light they absorb. The goblin looks at you and says, "Go to the gold value of that's 10G. Ah, I'm running out of time. Go, 10G. No, 10 gold. I got the badge. Just with 2 minutes to spare. You speak 10 gold into the air and arrive suddenly at an enormous feast table surrounding the body of an enormous fowl. The avian monstrosity lays 10 feet across and appears as a mound of feathers from which let's take this. No, I can only take one thing at a time, so I will stick to the battle kitty. The avian monstrosity lays 10 feet across and appears as a mound of feathers from which feet erupt at every angle. A goblin chef stands nearby with a cleaver in one hand. He gestures at a sign that sits nearby which reads, "Here lies Stark Sea, beast fowl of infinite feet," and a second sign which reads, "Turkey legs 5 gold." The goblin chef holds up a bottle labeled Jodelin, gender sweet and smoky barbecue sauce. We can take a turkey leg of gender, but I will rather keep the figurine that we found somewhere. I guess that's going to be it for today because it's 9 p.m. and I believe they're going to close the space now. Space is closing in a minute and I was disconnected. Just in time. A magical force repels you from the entrance. Roguelike Celebration is currently closed and it will open again tomorrow. So we will continue our adventure into the Goblin World thing tomorrow. Okay, it's now Sunday, the final day of the event, and we're back. The force field that threw us out is gone, so we are back here. It's 3 hours to the end of the event. So what we're going to do is we're going to return to the surface. We are back to the courtyard, and we're going to go to the theater just to see what's going on there. So right now there's a talk. There are 102 people taking a look at this talk about procedural generation of levels. This is great because there's live captioning and they're going to put this video online after they edit that, and it's going to take some weeks, but definitively worth checking out all the videos that are produced in this event. But we're going to continue our quest. So we're going to go here and back to the picnic grounds, and we are going to enter the hall again. We're back to the classic Goblin Warren. We already visited the Goblin Fashionistas and the Goblin Thinker, so now let's go into the dark hallway. The rest of the Warren's populace mills about, with the exception of one dark hallway, which they appear to be avoiding, but we are not going to avoid it. You enter a dark hallway and begin to hear threatening noises echoing in the distance. Your immediate surroundings, however, are featureless, stunned, hidden entirely by the unnatural darkness consuming everything here. The hair on the back of your neck raises as a chill wind blows from somewhere you cannot see, and you begin to feel a sense of unease as your steps slow down with caution before you can consider your next steps. We have two options here. We can cling to the walls or walk boldly down the center. Let's walk boldly down the center. You square up your shoulders and stride forward, daring the world to take you on. You take 3 confident steps before you hear a clicking sound, and you are suddenly surrounded by a multicolored fog. The fog shifts from hue to hue until finally settling on a deep toxic green, and you suddenly lose consciousness. When you wake up, you're back at the courtyard. So, not a good idea. We're going to back there, back to the dark hallway, and let's cling to the walls. You cling to the walls to avoid traps, cautiously making your way into an older, more primal part of the cave system. The growls resolve into a fine point, and you soon find yourself facing a classic goblin like those you've seen in the stories. He's wearing metal sheets haphazardly and wields an improbably shaped sword. Probably I screwed up haphazardly. He looks at you with a challenge in his eyes, as if he's longed for this for some time. A menu, is this VR? A menu appears in the air before you, begging you to choose. We are alone here. Fight, magic, drink, or run. I don't feel like fighting today. Let's drink. You enter the fight? Wait, I say drink. You enter the fight and immediately panic and down a potion. Your body feels healthy, but that's no change from how you felt before. You enjoy a brief moment of health before the goblin's wicked sword clips into you and you pass out. Game over. Let's go again. Dark hallway, cling to the walls, and let's not drink, let's do magic. You begin to cast a damaging spell at the armored goblin. A smile splits his face as he gets exactly what he wanted. You can almost see it in his eyes. This fight will change everything. This will be what fixes him. Let's continue with the second attack. Oh, so we are fighting here versus the goblin, the armored goblin. You prepare yourself for a second attack when the warrior strikes first. You take 6 points of slashing damage. You pay the warrior right back, however. As your second strike lands, the goblin looks markedly less excited. This doesn't appear to be doing whatever they wanted it to do. So we took 6 points of damage. We should still have plenty of hit points, so let's fight. You take another slash at the armored warrior, and they don't even try to dodge. The look in their eyes says the battle has already been lost. Somehow their sword drops a little in their hand. More fight! You get ready to attack, but you catch the look in the goblin warrior's eyes. A profound sadness echoes back at you. Fighting is a fun distraction. Testing yourself against another is an honorable thing, but it's not what this goblin needs right now. Let's listen to the goblin. We can hug, listen, or drink. Listen. You sit next to the goblin warrior and look at them eagerly. They begin to tell you of their troubles. They have been in this cave for quite some time. Years and years of combating adventurers like yourself. The warrior speaks of how much they have enjoyed testing their skills against fierce opponents, some which they defeated and others who bested them and helped them grow stronger. They tell stories that wrapped you up in a world of strength and growth, of honor and self-improvement. You are not sure how long you're there with this goblin, but you realize they never once mentioned going to the surface. You feel an urge within you to ask if they want to visit the festival above. Let's give him a hug. No, but I don't feel like doing that. I got a goblin badge. I completed the quest. You ask the goblin warrior if they would like to join you on the surface for a festival. They appear confused for a moment until you realize you need to explain the concept of a festival to them. It's like lots of people running around and doing stuff. Their eyes sparkle with life and an eager smile once again splits their face, but this time you do not believe it will fade quite so quickly. You walk then up to the surface, returning to the courtyard. so we did not hug them, but it was still fine. Alright, we're back to the courtyard, and I think we have completed like all the activities that could be done in the goblin hall. You open your arms wide in offering, and the warrior accepts. They walk towards you, and you both embrace, sharing a warm moment of camaraderie. You feel the tension leave their shoulders for just a moment. More hugs. You open your arms and offer the warrior a hug. You embrace, and the warrior relaxes for a moment in your arms. As they step back, you hear the echo of a cheer from somewhere above ground at the festival. The warrior looks curious for a moment, but unsure what to do about that curiosity. You get the impression that they have not left this cave for quite some time. You feel the urge to ask them if they would like to join you on the surface for the festival. Alright, you take out an amber colored potion bottle that fills the air with the scent of apples. You offer the goblin a drink, and they accept it eagerly. You sit together and share a moment of silent friendship. More hugs, and ask him to come to the surface. Right. Okay. Alright. So I think that covers most of what I wanted to show. We saw this area. We saw this area with the night market where there were some stores where you could get some stuff. This is the, oh, well, this is the, is it going to work? Yeah, this is the Roguelike Celebration sale event. Again, go and get some of these games. There's some sections. There's one for this year's speakers, Dungeon Crawler, Merchant, that font. I use that font and Ananias. Uh, Reality Break, World Goodness Pop. Well, Sea of Rifts. I really want to look into this one because it reminds me a lot of Expedition or what I wanted to do with Expedition almost 10 years ago. Well, not that much, like 6 years ago. Grimoire groups also very interesting to see what they are doing because we have Emerald Woods as well, and this is also like a cozy no combat roguelike, so you can see and farming roguelike, so you can see how similar it can be. I'm really eager to take a look at this one as well. Rogue Slavery, an action roguelike, also with great art. So these are the uh, the games from this year's speakers, and then we have from previous speakers, traditional roguelikes, games with cool procedural generation, including Nova Mundi, Get Nova Mundi, and narrative. All in all, great stuff. Let's go back to the courtyard, can we? And yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it with our visit of this year to the Roguelike Celebration Virtual Space. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and I'm looking forward for next year and also to finally take a look at all the talks when they are posted in YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I plan to be uploading more stuff more frequently. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you soon.